In the solemn and heroic flow of the nation's history, there are those who did not live merely to serve as officials, but to safeguard the land. There are deaths that do not fade into oblivion, but become guiding flames for generations to come. In the moment when the country staggered under the wave of Western colonial invasion, two high-ranking officials, Nguyen Tri Phuong and Hoang Dieu, became eternal symbols of loyalty, integrity, and unyielding spirit. One, though advanced in age, still charged into the battlefield, sword in hand, defending Hanoi against the firepower of enemy cannons. The other, when the citadel fell, chose not to flee, but to embrace death with dignity, preserving the honor of a general. Two lives, two different moments, yet both penned a glorious chapter of history. When the citadel was lost, the general fell. They were not merely mandarins of the Nguyen dynasty, but mountains standing firm amidst the storm, the unyielding soul of Thang Long. Nguyen Tri Phuong, the loyal old general who died defending Hanoi Citadel, a farmer's son with a sky-high ambition. Nguyen Tri Phuong, whose real name was Nguyen Văn Chuong, was born in 1800 in Duong Long village, now in Phuong Dien district, Thua Thien Huế province, into a poor farming family. Without a scholarly background or following the academic path like many others of his time, he began his career as a local militia soldier, closely tied to the fields, the soil, and the people. From an ordinary soldier, he gradually rose through the ranks by earning merit in fierce battles against the Siamese army, the rebels of Le Vong Khoi, and later, even against the Western invaders in southern Vietnam. With military talent, bravery, and unwavering loyalty to the imperial court, Nguyen Tri Phuong eventually became a pillar of the Nguyen dynasty under Emperor Tu Duc. Righteous, honest, and modest, he embodied the ideal image of a devoted general serving the country and the people. In every position he held, governor of Vĩnh Long, governor of southern Vietnam, or governor of Hanoi, he remained deeply connected to the people, famed for his integrity, austere lifestyle, and tireless dedication to national affairs. The Battle of Hanoi Citadel in 1873, the final wall of loyalty. At the end of 1873, amid political turmoil and a weak imperial court in Hue, the French colonialists exploited Jean Dupuis's commercial schemes to launch a military campaign into northern Vietnam. The commander was Francis Garnier, a young and ambitious French expeditionary officer. Hanoi, a sacred land in the heart of Vietnam, became the main target of the invasion. While the imperial court remained indecisive, all hopes were pinned on one man, Nguyen Tri Phuong, then 73 years old and serving as governor of Hanoi. Rejecting the French offers to negotiate, he firmly refused. To him, there was no compromise with invaders. He ordered the citadel gates closed, reinforced the defenses, and rallied the soldiers' spirits to defend every inch of land and every ancient brick of Hanoi Citadel. On November 20th, 1873, the French launched a fierce assault. Armed with superior firepower and modern weapons, they quickly breached the gates. Despite his age, Nguyen Tri Phuong donned his armor, wielded his sword, and led the defense to the end. He was seriously wounded, collapsed on the battlefield, and was captured by the enemy. Unyielding in enemy hands, a death that shook the heavens and earth. Though captured alive, Nguyen Tri Phuong never surrendered. The French treated him well and offered medical treatment, hoping to win him over. But the old general resolutely refused French medical care, went on a hunger strike, and never uttered a word to the enemy. His final days were those of a steadfast heart, untroubled by physical wounds, but tormented by the fall of the citadel and the defeat of his troops. After nearly a month without food or water, Nguyen Tri Phuong breathed his last on December 20th, 1873, preserving the dignity of a loyal subject who died with his fortress, like the heroes of old. Legacy of a loyal patriot. Upon hearing the news, Emperor Tu Duc was deeply grieved. He issued a posthumous decree honoring Nguyen Tri Phuong as a loyal martyr, ordered a solemn funeral, and had his remains returned to his hometown, where villagers built shrines in his memory. People across the country mourned him, honoring him as one of the greatest generals of the Nguyen dynasty, a man who lived, fought, and died as an immortal symbol of resistance against foreign invaders. Today, Nguyen Tri Phuong's name graces many streets, schools, and memorials throughout Vietnam. But more than anything, he lives on in the hearts of the people as a shining example of valor, righteousness, and unshakable patriotism. Hoang Dieu, the general who embraced death for honor and Hanoi Citadel, a man of integrity from the windswept central region. Hoang Dieu, whose real name was Hoang Kim Tik, was born in 1829 in Sundai Village, Dien Phuoc District, now Dien Ban District, Quang Nam Province. Born into a scholarly family with a strong tradition of learning, he stood out from an early age for his intelligence, firmness, and integrity. In 1851, he passed the provincial examination, and by 1868, he had become a doctoral laureate, entering the officialdom with admiration from the people and trust from the royal court. Throughout decades of service, Hoang Dieu was known for his honesty, uprightness, compassion for the people, and contempt for corruption and sycophancy. Wherever he served, from Quang Nam, Binh Dinh to Nghệ An, he left behind a legacy of integrity and patriotism. His talent and moral strength were fully recognized when the imperial court appointed him as governor of Ha Ninh, Hanoi, Ninh Binh, in 1880, during a time of turmoil and rising French aggression in northern Vietnam. Hanoi under fire, a lonely general in a faltering court. In the early 1880s, northern Vietnam became a hotspot. After seizing southern Vietnam and gradually expanding into the central region, the French began pushing their ambitions northward under the pretext of protecting French merchants and interests. The leader of this invasion was Henri Rivière, a bold and determined French officer. Despite treaties signed by the Nguyen dynasty to appease France, the French blatantly deployed troops to Hanoi. Facing this situation, Hoang Dieu sent multiple urgent memorials to the imperial court, requesting reinforcements and clear directives, but received only hesitation and indecisiveness in return. Though he knew he had been abandoned on the battlefield, he remained resolute in defending Hanoi, refusing to surrender without a fight. He quietly reorganized the troops, strengthened fortifications, and encouraged both soldiers and civilians to defend the city. People still speak of his solemn gaze and deep concern every time he stood before the ramparts, not for personal glory, but for fear of losing the land and its people. The fall of the citadel, a general's suicide, becomes eternal legacy. On April 25, 1882, while Hoang Dieu was inside the citadel, the French forces suddenly opened fire. With overwhelming firepower, modern weaponry, and a demoralized imperial army, the defense collapsed quickly. Witnessing the citadel fall and his troops scatter, with no hope of rescue, Hoang Dieu chose a path reserved for only the most loyal and honorable, taking his own life to preserve his dignity. Wearing his formal court attire, he quietly walked to the garden behind the governor's residence, under the shade of an old banyan tree. There, he used a silk scarf to hang himself, leaving behind heart-wrenching last words. "The fall of the citadel is my fault. I cannot bear to see the people suffer, nor let my honor be tarnished. Better to die with the city than live in disgrace under the enemy." His death even stunned the French. Though they had superior weapons, they could not break the unyielding spirit of a man of honor. The people of Hanoi mourned deeply. Many wept upon hearing. The governor is dead. He died for the city, for the people. An immortal soul at the ancient citadel. The Nguyen court later held a solemn memorial for him. The people of Hanoi built a shrine in the citadel, calling it the Hoang Dieu Shrine, where incense smoke rises year-round. In the hearts of the people, he was no longer just an official, but a guardian spirit of Hanoi, the soul of a 1,000-year-old cultural capital. His name, Hoang Dieu, was later given to many streets, schools, and parks across the country, not merely for remembrance, but to remind future generations of a life and death lived in full dignity. A death that became immortal. Both Nguyen Tri Phuong and Hoang Dieu did not die because of defeat in battle, but because of unwavering loyalty. The citadel may have fallen, but their honor never surrendered. Together, they wrote a tragic and glorious chapter of Vietnamese history, where death was the price to preserve dignity and rekindle the eternal flame of patriotism. In the darkest years, when the nation was engulfed by invasion, when the imperial court faltered and the people's hearts were divided, deep in the heart of Hanoi, two loyal patriots, Nguyen Tri Phuong and Hoang Dieu, ignited two eternal flames. One fell in the trenches, his blood soaking the ancient citadel stones. The other died silently in the garden of the governor's residence, leaving behind a spirit that echoes through the ages. They did not only defend the fortress with swords and guns, but also upheld the honor and dignity of a nation that had never bowed to oppression. When the land was lost, their loyalty remained. When the ramparts crumbled, their integrity became an unshakable stronghold in the hearts of the Vietnamese people. History may pass through upheavals, dynasties may fade into memory, but the names Nguyen Tri Phuong and Hoang Dieu will endure like two steadfast pillars of loyalty, like two guardian spirits of Thăng Long, Hanoi. And each time the blazing days of Hanoi Citadel are remembered, people quietly speak their names with deepest gratitude and reverence. The citadel fell, the generals perished, but as long as honor remains, the nation endures.